Hello everyone, welcome to another race in the A Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 tournament. I am one of your co-coms today. My name is Hammerbro, and sitting with me in the booth is Mercer. Mercer, how are you doing today, man?
Pretty good. Looking forward to this race. Should be getting started any second now. This is the second game in our matchup in the lower bracket for Group AA. TheSabin is up one game over Matt the Ogre.
Yep, and as such, we are actually doing a fast cannon today. I'm sure more of you are beginning to be familiar with the V31 changes and the alterations that our runners can make, but just for those of you who are not familiar with it, fast means that unless we are looking for a sword, there will be no GT, as we have a heart in Link's house. So, when you get to the Dark World, the hole that Ganon creates will just be kind of sitting there without you having to go through the whole Agate 2 thing. So outside of needing something in GT, like a sword, for instance, you will not actually need to go complete it. So that'll be one less thing our runners have to worry about, hopefully.
Yeah, realistically, the only things that can be in there that are even useful are a sword or silver arrows, and really it's just going to be a sword that would send runners of this quality going up there. So runners do get Fire Rod. That could allow them to do escape now, especially since they got some magic off the tree pull.
Yeah, I imagine that would require another tree pull if you're going to do that, but neither of them elect to go. So that's fine, not a big deal. You know, that Fire Rod's an interesting find, at least in a lot of the races that I've watched and calmed. Our fire sources have been, shall we say, hidden fairly well. So getting one super early, as we see 3 crystals in the Light World, with Hera and Desert being our 5-6. So Light World absolutely loaded. It'll be interesting to see what we end up looking for this race.
Yeah, that early Fire Rod's nice. It'll give us access into Skull Woods. Also brings certain dark rooms into Logic, specifically Dark Cross, Armos Knights, and the Pod Rupee Hallway. We are going to get a Lumberjack check here.
And I'll tell you what, I know that's not how the logic works, but it seems like this game is throwing magic at us, at least right from the onset. 50 rupees up in Lumberjack Tree, so nothing important there. Do have a nice heart in the drop down though, and that is not bad. A couple hearts early is always a little bit less scary than not getting them.
Yeah, a little more obnoxious heading into Kakariko on 0 rupees and 0 bombs.
That is a fair point. Meanwhile, TheSabin actually going to go ahead and pick up that baby's first shield. So it looks like, looks like we're going to go ahead and just hope. Best case scenario, we get some bombs from here. Acceptable scenario, we get enough rupees to buy some bombs. Unfortunate scenario is we get neither. Well.
Okay, well, Moon Pearl and Gloves is also okay. And if that's a Magic Bee, that's worth 100 rupees. Or there's just 100 rupees right there.
What did you say about a Magic Bee and 100 rupees? Alright, so that bottle's actually really nice, because it allows our runners to check Sick Kid while we're here. Meanwhile, it looks like TheSabin is going to kind of backwards route this in hopes of grabbing something that isn't bomb-locked, but that is not enough to help out. Alright, at the Ogre running through here, and alright, so no bombs, so it's looking like we're going to have to go through both of these locations now, which is not going to be fun. Oh, there we go. Alright, so TheSabin ended up grabbing a bomb, probably going to do... Yep.
Yeah, we did get our lamp, which that's some interesting early stuff here for the Kakariko checks. Matt the Ogre going to have to go back and grab those 2 bombable locations in the well and Lion's Hut, or not have to, but probably not going to skip them.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see those skipped at this point. So we do have 2 really interesting, not optimal routes of Kakariko, just based upon what we found prior to getting here, and then of course the rats being super ornery and dropping bombs for us, which was supremely unhelpful. Meanwhile, a thought to continue just pondering about as we go through. After buying bombs, Matt the Ogre does not have 100 rupees. So he's going to have to go ahead and hit up these rupee locations here and the ones in Blind's hideout, presuming that we don't get rupees in either of those locations to actually have enough for our bottle vendor.
Yeah, but just the one trip to get the items back will get Matt back over 100, so should be okay.
Yeah, so chat asking what changes we have. Oh, that was just insult to injury right there. Bombs in the back of Blind's hut. Chat asking what change we have for this one. We have a fast Ganon, so fingers crossed, no GT required.
I'm going to finish these last few checks. Blind's Hideout had most of the excitement in this Kakariko, although you definitely don't mind seeing that lamp early.
Yeah, but the main fun was the Moon Pearl and the Power Glove. It's just an interesting duo of items. I was half expecting to see the hammer. So after all the insanity kind of back and forth here, they're both going to be leaving Kakariko about the same time, with TheSabin slightly behind, which makes sense because he did check the Lumberjack ledge.
And a sword on Library Ledge, so good chance we actually do come back for that at some point, depending on where we find boots.
Don't worry, the boots will be in GT. And the race game giving us bombs too. It's going to be one of those seeds where for the first couple minutes when you really need bombs, you don't get them. And now that we have a decent supply of them, everything's just going to be giving us bombs for the next half hour.
Yeah, I believe there are 17 total bomb items in the pool, 16 3-drops and 110. So there's, a good number of them. If you don't find them early, they got to be somewhere.
We do have some mild divergence here. TheSabin heading into the back of Escape, while Matt the Ogre does the more traditional play of South Shores. We'll see what we find in these relative locations here. Yep, there's bombs. And 20 rupees and a small key. Okay, so we could go check Dark Cross now, which TheSabin is going to go ahead and do. Meanwhile, we see a 20 rupee just kind of sitting there uncovered by our pulling of the dam, and blue mail there, which ironically enough doesn't turn Psyduck into Gold Duck. That's kind of unfortunate.
That duck is kind of sad looking, honestly. Like in a literal sense, the duck looks like it's sad.
Yeah, Psyduck turned into a sad duck. It's unfortunate.
Getting an early Agina check here.
That is interesting. I've seen runners do that slightly more frequently now, probably just to get it out of the way as it is. But we'll see. So far, it doesn't seem to pay off terribly often as we get a kamikaze bomb into the southern wall here, and just a piece of heart.
Meanwhile, Sabin heading for the front of Escape. We found both the small key and the map already, so this will be 3 items.
Yep. It's also kind of an interesting point of contention with a lot of runners. The main gripe against the non-standard modes is that, you don't really know when to route and escape. So, different runners will have different opinions on when that needs to be done. As you can see, TheSabin deciding to just go ahead and get it over with.
These mini Moldorms refunding bombs is, wow, 3-1 bomb drops in a row.
And then a 4. I told you this seed's just gonna spit bombs out as we run into the bow. And the mitts! What the heck is this seed? And the what? Okay, alright, I'm leaving. Bye guys, this is too much for me.
So that was a lot. So let's see here. We've got access to full clear Eastern, the Dark World, Mire area. Not much access up the mountain yet. We need either hookshot or mirror for that.
Interestingly enough, though, keep in mind that Aghanim is not dead yet. We still need to find that hammer.
Yeah, there's a series of tricks that would have let them get the bomb across the river, is my understanding. I don't know the details.
Oh, that would be unfun. I hadn't even considered that. I was just thinking about something like hammer on pyramid or at pod.
Oh, I was thinking about Pyramid Fairy. But yeah, I mean, they definitely... there are a few different ways to get across the river if it is a logical Agaseed at this point.
That's a fair point. Also keep in mind, we are only either a book or a mirror away from being able to logically access desert. I say access because we might need the boots to complete it, but we'll at least be able to walk in the door. And we are going to get an early mountain play from TheSabin.
Yeah, only 2 items available up here right now, even for Matt with the additional items that he has.
Amusingly enough, though, it's going to be a quicker check for Matt using the flute, so a little bit of saved time there.
I'm about to get that flute activation.
Yep, as one duck liberates another, get your cheese and quackers ready. As we do see that 10 bomb pack sitting right atop Spectacle Rock and a big 20 inside, so nothing useful there.
Yeah, we found a really high percentage of the stuff that's useful already. We might go dry for a little while. A lot of times these seeds that are kind of front-loaded do that.
That's a fair point, but if we go super dry, then we're going to have a situation of swordless Dark World required, and that's not terribly fun.
Matt, not wanting to isolate any of these Light World checks, even with Dark World access, going ahead and clearing out some of these, like this Ice Rod Cave, Escape, all of that. Sabin, meanwhile, doing damn, likely to go over to Mini Moldorm Cave and finish clearing out most of the early sphere checks.
Yep, that's a good point. What I've noticed that a lot of runners have tendencies, either, and this is somewhat oversimplifying it, but you have runners that are very safe in nature and runners that are more risky in nature, and as you get to the point of being in a potential elimination seed, like this is for Matt, those tendencies are going to become more pronounced. So if Matt is someone who doesn't prefer leaving locations, then he's going to be much less likely to leave locations now. As we run into the boots.
And those boots, we don't know, do give us access to a sword on library.
Yeah, that is nice, and that is probably the very first thing that Matt is thinking of at this point. Sword doesn't make Eastern Palace too much quicker, so he's just going to go ahead and take it out here, especially with the lamp. But I imagine that's going to be the very next check outside of King's Tomb and Balkrox after this.
Yeah, depending on what's found in Eastern, probably going to, I mean, either way, probably going to go to Dark World before too much longer, especially with a sword in hand.
Yes. I mean, we're kind of running out of locations to check in the Light World anyway, so it's about time.
Also, Eastern Palace is the one dungeon you normally don't have the boots for besides Escape. And it really, really benefits from having boots because there are a lot of long, straight corridors.
Yeah, I always thought that was overly cruel, especially when you're doing a replay through of it. Like, the first time you don't necessarily know what you're going to get, but as you play it again, you're like, wait, I'm going to get the boots in just a minute. And you start visualizing all of these long sprints down straight corridors, and you realize you just can't do it right now. It's really unfortunate.
And we are going to see some divergence as Sabin is heading for the Dark World.
Yeah, this will be interesting. So we will see. All right, so our pendants are Pod, Ice, and Swamp, with Pod being the green pendant. That's a fun decision to make. You know, that also means, technically, that flippers may very well not be required. It's the same thing for hookshot, actually.
Yeah, not only that, they might actually, like, literally be in GT.
Yep, so one item that our runners would be very pleased just not ever see, by that definition, would be the flippers, because, well, if I don't get the flippers, then I don't have to go into either of our pendant dungeons. I'm not even going to pretend like not going into Pod is an option, because there will definitely be something there. Green pendant, Pod, come on. That's going to have something.
That said, I'm guessing Sabin went ahead and went to Dark World in part because of hoping to do Pod and Eastern together. Might get over there to get boots sooner, courtesy of their not being necessarily a requirement to clear Pod.
Yeah, that is a fair point. It'll also be a situation where, with the bow, you can just about full clear Pod, outside of Helmasaur specifically. So there's not really a whole lot of reason to put that check off unless you're going to play either go for this Hospital Green Pendant play or the pedestal. So, which I doubt we're going to see that this early anyways.
Yeah. So in addition to what you mentioned, we also may not need the mirror, but if we don't get the mirror, we're going to need the book.
Yep, book or mirror are going to be required. I don't know which one I would prefer in that regard, actually, because both of them are kind of fetch questy, shall we say, in what they unlock.
Yeah, but the mirror helps you navigate within dungeons, and the book does not. So a cape on the digging game, not dig spot, fetch questy itself, but still nice to have when you're walking around the Dark World at this low of swords.
As Armos drops silvers, so that's really interesting to find. Also, keep in mind, that cape with the sword that we have and the lamp does put Aghanim within logic, so keep that in the back of your head. Still looking for that hammer.
Yeah, Meyer being a crystal, you're definitely not unhappy to see those silvers. Um, Vitreous becomes a much easier fight, especially if your other option is like fighter sword.
Yeah, that would be... Oof. At that point, you fake Flipper to the swamp area in the light world and you get yourself a couple of arrow upgrades. That's what you do at that point. As Hype Cave gives us Quake, so that could be needed.
Also had the Cane of Samaria in the front part, the NPC there.
Yeah, so not bad overall. Cane of Samaria is going to be a required item for 2 of our dungeons, and Quake being potentially required for 0, 1, or 2. We'll have to wait for some information on that. But that's something. I'd give it a, I don't know, a 4. How about you?
I mean, that cane is actually like one of the more effective weapons in the Sabin's arsenal that doesn't use arrows. So, I'll go 5.
That is a fair point. It'll continue to be one of the most useful weapons until the TheSabin goes ahead and grabs their boots from Sahasrara. Speaking of, hello, sword.
Yeah, so Sabin does not have the option to clear Skull Woods without a sword. You need one to cut down the curtains. Wouldn't be a terribly fun fight with just like Fire Rod anyway. You would need to get 8 of 8 hits.
Yep, or pick up a green goo from somewhere, but yeah, that would be unpleasant to the extreme, although using a fighter sword is not much more pleasant. As you can see, everything here in the Dark World likes getting hit several times from your flimsy plastic sword.
You're not supposed to be here with it. They didn't balance the game around it.
Which is why Randomizer is fun, and by fun, I mean, aww.
So both are runners in Skullwoods. It is completable for Matt because of that sword. Sabin's just going to be clearing out the front.
Meanwhile, Matt going straight back there, so, yeah, let's have fun, guys. 7 max hearts, regular magic, fire rod, fighter sword. Yeah. This could get interesting.
It does the round trip to refill hearts and magic.
Very smart idea using those silvers. Clear everything out. No reason to waste magic. I'm surprised he's not using the lamp there, but... Turns into a Rhydon, I believe. That's kind of amusing.
Looks like gonna have, I believe, 5 fire rod shots after grabbing the small pot.
I think he might actually have 6, but we'll see.
It may be. I'm having a hard time seeing the meter that closely.
Yep, I know the feeling. We'll just have to count. There's 1.
Showing patience with it, doesn't want to miss because misses mean more fighter sword attacks.
Yeah, but so far, given that Mothula is for the most part staying away from that northward wall, this isn't too terrible of a fight. Alright, as I say that, I'm sorry. Oh, be careful here. Alright, anything hits him?
Close. Ah. That was really close to finishing, too. I think it was only 1 or 2 hits left.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it. I wonder if we're going to have another go at it, or just a, and I'll come back later so I don't tilt moment. Yeah, chat calling out commentator's curse. I'm sorry. Matt thinking about a death warp, but electing to not worry about it.
And yeah, it looks like gonna at least check the front of the dungeon.
Yep, the TheSabin, meanwhile, gonna get their boots probably after Eastern, unfortunately, but only a couple minutes away from it either way.
Yeah, it is just a little unfortunate to get your boots right after finishing Eastern, even though that's the way you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, I can't even take advantage of Rando in that way. Meanwhile, Skullwood's really giving Matt the Ogre the runaround, for lack of a better term. Here's a map. Here's a key. Here's an actual item.
Of sorts.
An interesting V31 change is that that small key is no longer guaranteed. Used to be that you would definitely get that death sprite is hilarious. It used to be that you would definitely get a small key there, just in case you decided that that you were going to drop in from the hole that that our side duck friend just dashed past, which would prevent you from soft locking. But that is no longer the case, so be careful.
Matt the Ogre checking bumper ledge, doesn't have the cape yet, so wouldn't have been able to get the item, but it's just a heart piece anyway.
Yeah, I likely wouldn't have made that check as it is. And yeah, that's an unfortunate item to grab afterhand. Now, given a green goo would just be adding insult to injury, but yeah, I don't think we're going to come across one of these around here.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see if Matt goes into Thieves Town without the hammer or not.
Given the fact that Matt has the flute and the mitts, I would assume he'd at least go in and do the front four. Because I mean, it's a pretty quick to get back to, so you're gonna have to complete it anyways. I would be shocked to not see a full attempt at clearing and then just hop back in for the one item later if you're feeling squirrely about it.
Well, if there is an item in the big chest, getting back into it is awful. But at least going to grab the front four, as you mentioned.
That's fair, but you also have to consider it's no more awful than being right next to it and electing to not do it and then having to come back and do it anyways. So, like right now, with you running past the dungeon, you're practically double dipping it because you're going to have to do the entry into the dark world around here at the same time anyways. So I would be kind of surprised to not see him just go through it.
And Sabin picking up his silvers off of Armos. We'll see if he does go by and get the boots. Hopefully, will not bypass.
Yeah, the boots are definitely something you want. We're probably going to get a minor eye roll of annoyance as it is, but if these weren't picked up at this point, it would that might turn into a full-on tilting. But thankfully, we're running into it anyway, so boots momentarily.
Yeah, so Matt mostly really just does not want to see the small key in blind cell. And if it's not there, then we'll know it's in the big chest.
Yep. Also a point of a backup point, if you will. I believe still hasn't come across one of our dungeon items, so as long as that doesn't show its face. If I did in fact count correctly, which I might not have. Not very good at counting. So for those of you who have just joined us and kind of know the rules of this tournament generally, Matt the Ogre decided to make this a fast Ganon seed. So, Master Sword willing, we will not have a GT climb. So that'll be nice.
Well, you know, these things happen.
Pretty much.
So, if you're correct about the item count, just rooting to find the last item on blind rather than either map or compass.
That is a correct pun. Broken pencils are in fact pointless. So TheSabin now with their sword, but deciding not to do the back of Skull Woods with it. At least not yet. Well, that's unfortunate. There's an item back there, guys.
Yeah, but Sabin making the same play, so if this is going to bite our runners, it's going to bite them equally.
Equal opportunity nibbling is something I could stand behind. Or rather, gnaw behind? Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised to see dig game here and then perhaps a pickup of our favorite bullfrog. And then a world tour, because, you know, we might as well.
Yeah, probably going to see Hype Cave at some point. Matt hasn't gotten over there yet either. That said, we're starting to run out of locations that are logically available right now for the hammer. It's narrowing somewhat. So we may find out if our runners do know the... there's, I think, basically 3 tricks that'll get them over there. The Cairn Bomb Jump, the Fairy Revival, or the Splash Deletion.
That's a good point. I feel like the splash deletion would probably be the easiest one to do. That bomb jump is no joke. And right now, although we do have a bug net, so we could grab a fairy if needed. I feel like the one that would be just easiest to do would be the splash deletion.
Yeah, there may be another that I'm not aware of. Those are the 3 methods I know of. There is also the Go Kill Aga method, but that one seems longer than the others.
Yeah, that one's definitely going to take more time, and we are. I don't think we'll be doing that. Yeah, so on that note, what do we have that could still contain the hammer logically?
Mothula.
We do have Mothula, yeah, because the TheSabin checked both of the boots locations. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're sitting. Mothula is either going to
And
have the big
then
key.
Zora could have something.
That's right, that's also within logic. Yeah, Mothula is either going to have a big key or the last item. So we will see how that works out. Meanwhile, we're going to get a boots checks from Matt here, just in case you missed the first go round.
And then also, of course, the Smith chain that Matt is currently doing, or at least the 2 parts of it that can be done at the moment.
Oof, hammer on purple chest would be mean. And if Aghanim is required, it would be interesting to see when both of our runners decide that logic breaking is the best idea. Because at some point, you know, your item locations kind of dwindle. So at what point do you go, okay, forget it. I'm not turning in the purple chest right now. I'm gonna go break and go into the pyramid ferry, or yeah, the pyramid ferry. If and when we actually get access to that pod and the like. It'll be interesting to see when that happens for our runners.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a few logical checks. Looks like the TheSabin is going to head up to Skullwoods. So we'll get one of these, hopefully, if the boss fight goes okay for him.
Yeah, definitely not an easy fight, so hopefully for the sake of the TheSabin and for us and chat as knowledge holders, we'll be able to get information on this real quick. Meanwhile, we might just have hammersmiths, so...
Yeah, that would smooth this out.
Nope. We have heartsmiths, which not nearly as much fun. Alright, so keep in mind, with Matt doing this, fake powder is now off the table. I've seen that come back to bite a runner more than once in this tournament, so... Ha! So we'll see how that ends up. Alright.
He buys the bottle, the potion.
Yep, determined to be slightly more prepared for the Mothula fight next go-round. Which at this point is looking somewhat imminent. We'll see in a moment. Nope.
It's just 2 full heart containers in Skullwoods, because that was also the item in the front.
Yep, so we're really running low on stuff, and that could end up being really unfortunate for Matt with the potion grab if Zora ends up being our required item check here. We actually haven't had a check of either. Or of any, I should say, of our flippers locations, which isn't really a big deal as we don't have the flippers yet. We're kind of hoping to not see the flippers. But Alright, so meanwhile, the Sabin gonna go ahead and turn in their mushroom as well. Although it was right after a save and quit, so we might get a save scum here.
Yeah, might also get a walk up to Zora after. Does have over 500 rupees. Yeah. No, okay.
I think it's still faster to fake flipper.
Probably, and
I
you get the
also,
waterfall cave check without having to set anything else up.
also think the Sabin wasn't quite sure what they wanted to do, but I'm fairly certain we're going to get a water walk here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't look like they ever checked Ice Rod Cave either, which I believe was just, might have just been a big 20. I don't fully remember. It wasn't anything important.
Yeah, I want to say it was actually arrows, but you might be right with the big 20. Yep, good call.
Heading back into Dark World, this might be Smith Chain.
Yeah, it's more or less the only thing we have left, so really running out of locations here. Obviously, the runners individually have more stuff than they do collectively, but either way, each runner individually is rapidly running low on locations. So if I'm not mistaken, at this point, I believe that Purple Chest and Zora are our last hopes. Matt's gonna come over here and check the Lumberjack Cave, and gonna be, I don't know, pleased slash displeased to find 50 rupees. For those of you who are curious, the other Lumberjack predictably says, and one of us always tells the truth.
Oh, we do have Meyer Shed. I don't know that we've checked that.
We have. Nothing of
That's right.
importance.
That's right. I do. You're right.
And looks like this might very well be Purple Chest. And then afterwards, we might very well have a Houlihan room. Never mind, it's going to be round 2 with the moth.
Yeah, it makes sense. You're going to need to do it at some point.
Yeah, most definitely. Just in case the first fight didn't bug you enough, you get to go at it again. A little more health this time, though.
Yeah, and a blue potion, so can just fire a rod the moth down.
Yeah, I expect this fight to go much better, and I also hope that this isn't a double commentator's curse on this fight for Matt.
Well, let's see where Sabin goes. Could actually do some real sequence breaking and head into ice.
Yeah, but I feel like sequence breaking into a pendant when you're, I don't know, 2 item locations away from definitely finding some progression somewhere, or having to minorly sequence break just the whole darn thing. I don't know. I feel like that play would be suspect.
Well, all it takes is vanilla flippers to bring that back in there.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to technically sequence break to get those, so. You know, the one saving grace about Mothula is that unlike a couple of our Dark World bosses, Mothula does actually take fighter sword damage. And of course, now that it's round 2 and Matt does have that blue goo, not needed.
Also, as with all damage sources for Mothula, Mothula sometimes takes fighter sword damage. Those spikes are annoying.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Anytime Mothula gets whacked by something into the spikes, it instantly decides that, well, damage is for losers, and Mothula's no loser. Alright, another shield upgrade there. Let's go get ripped off, everyone, because the hammer's actually in the purple chest.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think here. Do we have any other checks that are in logic without doing AGA other than the purple chest?
I don't believe so, but I'm fairly certain we're getting an attempt at a water walk, and I think with that bonk, it's not going to work. But I'm not absolutely certain on that, so we'll see.
This looks like a purple chest grab. Or it could be a bomb jump. Or a bomb big flipper, rather. Matt getting the water walk on that side.
Yep, gonna go ahead and check our catfish first. We are officially in logic break land, so we'll see what's over here.
I mean, it's in logic you would just have to kill Aga, so, that wouldn't change the item sequencing.
Right, no, I'm not arguing that at all, especially because we do have everything required to beat Aghanim, so it's not logically locked behind anything other than an extra 4 or 5 minutes of your time. Alright, so Aghanim is officially required.
With an asterisk, because it's not actually required.
Well, right, not if you know one of the ways to get around it, but logically is required, I should say. So now it'll be interesting. Our potential at this point is we could have an item on the pyramid, which is why I'm kind of surprised that Matt, I'd go take a look at that. There aren't very many items that this unlocks, and I would definitely go there first. We could have an item
either
here.
4 or 5 and odd.
Yeah, but now the pendant pot is going to be dipped. There's going to be nothing in there. Never mind, there will be something in there, because that's just an empty bottle.
I mean, I can't... My eyes are drawn to a mirror gives us access to both our 5-6 crystals.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And then we'll get to see what our runners decide to do to get through the big red bomb issue. That'd be a long walk. Oof.
I'm confused. What is the TheSabin doing? You already got both items here.
Might not be certain about their item count. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. Alright, so there's definitely something in here. Any guess as to what it is? I think you've gone with mirror.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with mirror. I mean, it'll probably like 3 items because that's how this tends to work.
Hey, you know what we could have? We could have the flippers in here and the hammer in the first chest of swamp. Flippers, and we would need flippers and mirror, I should say. But
yeah, it could be somewhere in that ice palace, though.
It's also for a point.
But yeah, it's probably hanging out somewhere near the back of this dungeon, because that's how Pod's items tend to work.
Yeah, with 6 chests in the front and 4 small keys being absolutely required, you know, you don't really have a whole lot of leeway for getting items here. And now we have 5 keys required because we just picked up the big one. Chat calling out a conspiracy. I mean, that might help. We are going to see the Kern bomb jump here. Didn't quite work out. So we're going to get to try it again after we murdered this Hinox for having the audacity to be in our way. You know, it only takes 1 bomb to kill him, right? Probably a little quicker than swinging your sword.
The timing on this trick's pretty tight.
Yeah, definitely pretty high on the not fun scale. One of those things that looks absolutely awesome if you can pull it off, but it is not a fun thing to do. Meanwhile, Matt getting more keys than he knows what to do with, and no, you really don't want to death warp with those, bud. Oh,
Okay, gets
pulling it off with just 1 bomb left. Whew.
Yeah, very glad to see that. That'll keep our race tight.
Yeah, at this point, you don't want to see something preventing our runners from having to do something, like one being able to skip Aghanim and the other one not. That's not a fun way to lose a race. We are getting a skip of the vanilla big key chest, which I don't think necessarily has a small key in it given our layout, but I'm not certain of that. Matt was thinking about a hammer jump there, but elected against it.
Yeah, I believe we now have all of our small keys, right?
Yes, I believe you are correct. Because we would use 1 there, 1 for Helmasaur, 1 to get into the Dark Maze, and 1 to get into the vanilla big key chest.
Easy enough to go back to the vanilla big key chest, since he did get the big key, so it's not going to like mess up his routing too much. It would be very annoying if it had the big key and he couldn't get into the big chest, though.
So we've got to find something in here, right? That's something that we agree on? Because we're running low on checks.
Pretty sure.
We got to find something here, right? Something? Maybe? Something? There it is. Alright, so that officially unlocks Graveyard Ledge, K45, Checkerboard, Hera, actually.
Hera, Desert, and Pyramid Fairy.
Well, actually, it unlocks all of Death Mountain. Because it unlocks Hera. Oh no, because we don't have Hammer.
You need Hammer.
Yep. Got ahead of myself there. We'll see if we get something here, though. Hey, at least we get to mirror out. You know, there's something delightfully ironic about having the mirror in the big chest when you would normally plan on death warping out of there.
Yeah, it looks like Matt can head straight for Desert. 2 items plus, again, one of our 5-6 crystals.
Yep, it does seem like Matt is following your train of thought here, instantly thinking of our Pyramid Fairy.
Checkerboard Cape too, so that's another item.
Yeah, this is effectively a 5-item
Oh,
section.
hello.
Well, there it is.
So that opens up a lot of places, like basically everywhere. There's a few places that are still kind of obnoxious, or at least out of logic without flippers, but main things we need now are medallions and the ice rod, I believe.
Yep, Ice Rod, definitely gonna need Ether, maybe Bombos. And yeah, that might... And a sword. We're gonna have to start
Well,
thinking about
yes.
that.
Just one sword will be plenty with silvers,
But we still need that sword.
we may not, or we actually don't need hookshot to answer a question in chat. This is a fast scan seed, so no GT today, barring needing to go in there for the sword, and Swamp is a pendant.
Yep, and with the fact that we have the boots, that is our other access to Mire, so... Technically, no hookshot strictly required. We'll see if that changes down the road, but right now, no hookshot. And no sword.
Yep, so
Well,
early desert, good play heading out of here.
and right as chat goes, I want to see GT. Well, with Matt picking up the Master Sword, you're not going to see GT this go around. Sorry, guys.
Sabin grabbing their hammer. Or, not hammer, mirror.
I was going to say, how did they move it?
Sorry.
No biggie. Weeks are long. Alright, so with silvers, if all goes well, this will be a blink and you miss it fight. If all doesn't go well, then it'll be a trap and we'll end up doing a 6 cycle anyways. Oh, chat just keeps on going, doesn't it? They're now saying that we're going to need hookshot to pull the ped for Ice Rod.
Hey, dream your dreams, chat. I believe in you.
Alright, so that is our 4th crystal. Regardless of the insanity that we got sidetracked by for a little bit with our hammer being somewhere. We are getting there. Just a couple more dungeons, just a couple more items, and then we could go fight the pig. I suppose that Mercer and I should play good com, bad com, because I don't believe in you, chat. Sorry. I believe in this race being done in less than a half an hour. So for chat asking the requirements for defeating Ganon, I believe in terms of logic, the requirements are silvers, Master Sword, and I don't know if lamp is strictly required or just a fire source.
Yeah, I mean, we got silvers already, so that's fine. I don't think our runners today would need silvers, but they're certainly not going to object to having them.
No. I just meant in terms of seed logic, because chat was asking. So.
I mean, for tournament settings, it's 100% inventory, and Ganon doesn't lock any item locations, so logically you can have everything.
Fair point. Meanwhile, say hello to Moldorm for us. So the Sabin doesn't yet have a hammer, which means we get fun Moldorm phase.
Or Master Sword.
Whew, that was close there, but 2 Moldorms dead. No Moldorm successes in knocking us off the ledge. So far, so good.
Yeah, but from here, TheSabin has to leave, and Matt is going to quite likely head east. Well, Matt's heading back in as well. Was there an item in the basement, I'm guessing? Or not?
Yeah, not sure. May have been a miscount there. Alright, so hammer for the Sabin.
And probably going to do desert, so we'll get the Master Sword as well, most likely.
Yeah, I would be surprised to not see it at that point, since, you know, they're right in the area.
Yes. Looking for Ether, maybe Bombos, and Ice Road.
Yep, so we're getting there.
Yeah, they're probably kind of hoping not to see Hookshot.
Yeah, at this point, if you can manage to go without seeing flippers, I mean, Hookshot wouldn't be too bad. Hookshot itself doesn't really unlock a whole lot as long as you don't run into your flippers. So, yeah, let's just keep the flippers out of the picture and everyone will be happy, pretty much at this point.
Some red mail and not a lot else.
Right? That Paradox Cave?
No.
I guess you were told at some point if you've nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. I do find it interesting that the red mail just turned our side up slightly purpler. If
Double
that's
ether requirement today on our pendant, or in the medallions.
And not thinking for more than a moment that he had it. I'm not gonna lie, seeing a side duck hover would be one of the funniest things I've seen in Rando. I don't think we're gonna see it here, but it would be hilarious. That Wildfire pointing out that our red male side duck is approximately the same color as a gold duck, and I do believe you are correct. Hey, at least we got the good boomerang.
And is this going to be a spike cave check as well? Looks like it.
Might as well. With any luck, you won't have to be back up the mountain for, well, anything other than a Turtle Rock clear.
But really, so far the parts, I mean, unless this has something, Sabin ordering on Death Mountain versus Desert, not really costing anything. We'll see where they head next. Looks like a Pyramid Fairy check, possibly.
Yeah, that would make sense. Oh, no.
Well, that brings a lot into logic.
Oh, that is not something we wanted to see right now.
So depending on whether something's actually locked behind that or not, that could be a horrible amount of bait for Matt, or it could be the key to the seed.
Yep. I will tell you this, though. Picking up that item at Death Mountain really made Matt sigh. I'm sorry, I've been wanting to make that pun for the last hour and 7 minutes. So, you know, I can only hold it off so long.
That book is kind of insulting. It's not our access to Desert, so it's just 2 fetch quests.
Oh man, this seed is about to get really trolly really fast.
I mean, maybe. We need the Ether to check out our remaining 2 crystal dungeons, so it's a whole lot of not polite checks left.
Yeah, but even as that may be, we're sitting right now on Helmasaur, and then partial access to Swamp, and maybe full access to Ice Palace based upon keys, because, you know, Ice Palace can be hookshot locked as well. Meanwhile, we are going to get an Ether check, which... Oh boy,
that's our Ice Rod. That's interesting. So now we just want Ether, and we don't want anything that's not Ether.
Pretty much.
That Ether tablet for Matt is the most isolated. It is awful.
It's isolated. But anyways, I actually don't think that's a terrible location, because so the joke of Ice Rod being in Turtle Rock is a fairly common joke, and it's a fairly common joke for a darn good reason. But there's one place that you're going to check while you're up there before you head into Turtle Rock, assuming that he does check Pyramid Fairy and has the, which it looks like that's going to occur. But as long as he gets that book, I would imagine that Ether Tablet is going to be checked before we run into our lovely little Turtle Rock in hopes of finding the Ice Rod. And then upon checking that, well, we won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, do that before you do, I don't know, Swamp.
Well, right now it doesn't really matter, since we don't have Ether.
Sabin hovering over some to some green goo. If one of these is Ether, it would be amazing, but no, just that green goo and a couple of garbage items.
Yep, so that is Hookshot Cave. So far, the possibility of hookshot being required is still... the doctor's still out on that one. Hopefully it won't be, but, you know, we'll see. I honestly think that you would dip Ice Palace before swap at this point, because with Ice Palace, you could at least clear it. Perhaps not in logic, but at the very least be able to clear it. Whereas with Swamp, you would not unless you find the hookshot in there. So I feel like you'd do Ice before Swamp. I don't know. We'll see though.
Yeah, I mean, and Pod is also green pendant, so you could go just kill the boss. I don't know if the boss had an item as well. If so, that's 2 items.
I am fairly certain, yes, that Helmasaur did have an item, because we did see both the map and the compass.
Yeah, so that is also a reasonable play. Just going into Pod for Helmasaur is definitely quicker than full clearing ice.
Yeah, that's fair. We also have quite a few locations that just haven't yet been checked, like the fact that Book just unlocked Bombo's tablet, and Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah. There's legitimately a bunch of awful stuff.
Yeah, and because we didn't get these items until somewhat recently, pretty much everything at this point is also orphaned. It didn't even have the common decency to give us the items early, so we could just route them in as best as we can. As we see a lovely, nice little dash across 4 different screen transitions to what's probably going to be absolutely nothing useful over here on Graveyard Ledge.
So, Sabin about to get flippers as well. And
which, honestly, this is going to be a heartbreaking find for the TheSabin, because at this point, they're sitting here going, okay, I just need Ether, I just need Ether, I just need Ether, and then they're going to open this chest and go, oh, dang it.
yeah, so Sabin definitely not totally certain where to go. It looked like a little hesitation there. We'll see where, but this looks like possibly Swamp.
Yeah, at the very least, we're going to get a Bombo's tablet check. I imagine that would be done first. And then, yeah, Swamp is an option.
Yeah, you can't do all of it, but you can do some of it.
Also, the TheSabin might decide to skip Swamp for the time being and go after... Oh, we also have the big chest in Thieves Town. I forgot about that. Oh, no.
That's actually going to be really interesting if it's that, because I'm not sure how long that'll take Sabin to check.
So honestly, I completely and totally forgot about it, and I'm not even running this seed. Alright, so it looks like the TheSabin is going to go ahead and skip Swamp for the time being. I would imagine go straight into Pod. Or maybe not. We're going to do K45 first.
Yeah, and I think like we're getting a lot of new checks. There's a lot of places where this Ether medallion can be.
I wouldn't even necessarily call it a lot of locations. I just think that they're all orphaned. We also, in this area... Oh, no. That is not... No. Put it back. Put it back. We don't want that. Oh, man. There's also hammer pegs, which is probably going to get checked right about now.
I mean...
Alright, so Ether's on pedestal. I've given up.
So Matt gonna do the purple chest plus bomb boost, probably. About to do the invisible purple chest hand in. Left the chest behind.
I don't even fully know how this works. Like, I understand how the check itself works, where the game only checks, like everything else, if you try and do something on the same frame or a frame directly after, you can usually get away with pretty much murder, but I don't really understand where you can specifically leave the chest and where you can't. Is that close enough? Oh, okay, cool. Alright, so at this point we know that Ice Rod is sitting up at Ether. What else do we have other than our two pendants and the pedestal? I don't think we have much else, to be perfectly honest with you. We've gotten all of our mirror checks out of the way. Checkerboard, K45, Graveyard Ledge, those are all done. We have our two book checks. So yeah, at this point we are looking at one of these two dungeons or the amalgamation of these two dungeons. Helmasaur is obviously also an option. We don't really want to talk about that. You don't want to double dip a pendant. That's not fun, ever.
Yeah, that's true, although it would have been totally required in this case if Helmasaur leads to it, since the mirror to get the hammer was in pod.
That is a fair point. Still wouldn't make you feel any better, though.
That means there's no way your opponent avoided it.
And I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see a ped check from Matt. Probably just more hoping than anything else. That was a nice fairy pull there from TheSabin.
Yeah, so Sabin gonna have to do the bomb jump in this room without the hook shot. Or hover it. I guess hovering it also works.
Yeah, hovering not usually faster than bomb jumps in situations where you can do both. With all the jellyfish sitting there, yeah, hovering's probably going to be faster.
I mean, he showed he could do that earlier. I don't know why I forgot it. Also, that hover was
it definitely was something else. TheSabin showing a little bit of frustration here. Just completely annihilated that large Stelphos there. I'm sure there's an official name for it, just like I'm sure I have no idea what it is, so.
And there we go, at 1:18:26 or so, Sabin enters go mode. And
that is super unfortunate at this point. This could very well be a situation of Matt getting randoed, which has been happening a lot this tournament. It's one of those places where you had two guesses and one of them was wrong, and yeah. So it's likely that Matt's going to go into Ice Palace next, at least I hope. But at this point, it is most likely TheSabin's race to lose.
Again, to remind chat, they won't need, even without the hovering, Sabin would not need hookshot. This is fast cannon.
Trying the quick kill there, but it is not an easy task to handle. Alright, so at this point the Sabin's going to be looking for a big key here, and then a couple of small keys, and a big key over in T-Rock, and then going to be looking for a meeting with the piggy. I mean, honestly, at this point, regardless of the fact that the Sabin is ahead, probably not feeling great with 2 crystals left to clear at 1 hour and 20 minutes at a fast cannon seed. Like, these races are supposed to take less than 1 hour and 30 minutes, and that is not going to happen today.
Yeah, this Meyer key layout not being super friendly yet either.
Yeah, and that doesn't even mention the fact that, oof. And we have a left side swamp, which is just gonna honestly add insult to injury. But Turtle Rock,
Okay,
even
that wasn't too
Gomo,
bad of a big key location.
yeah, it's not as bad as it could have been, but it's also not terribly ideal.
We'll have silvers for this Vitreous, so Vitreous is not going to be doing well today.
Yeah, with 1 sword sitting in swamp, though, it is a bit more likely that the Sabin is just going to have a Master Sword Silver Ganon fight. So we'll get to see some spins.
Yeah, some spins fortunately not being 50 or whatever it is for the silverless version of that fight.
Yeah, I want to say 52, if memory serves. It'll just be 28, which, I mean, it's still a lot of spins. Oh no, of course it's going to put us in a situation where it's just, this siege just going to run Matt all around Hyrule at this point.
Yeah, we'll get Ether, which might send back up the mountain at some point. Or might go back up the mountain now.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I didn't anticipate that. Does Matt know that he can't get into Turtle Rock?
He definitely opened the portal earlier. Didn't check Hookshot Cave because it wasn't hovering it, so there's 3 item checks there plus Ether.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'd forgotten that Hookshot Cave was in Logic, so yeah, that makes sense. Doesn't really want to dip Ice Palace when these 4 checks will be quicker than going through all of Ice Palace will be. Unfortunately, the wrong choice for our Ether Medallion, but still, it makes logical sense.
Yeah, definitely not really anything that Matt did wrong in terms of routing, just didn't work out for him following that hook shot and flippers. Just kind of unfortunate. Sabin actually got to route in the Ether tablet earlier because of missing out on doing the mountain in 1 clear. So it kind of ended up working out that getting the book and coming back up here got the ice rod quickly.
Yeah, honestly, the thing that ended up ruining Matt is that there was an item in the big chest of Thieves Town. That's really what did it, because that's what gave us the hook shot, which put Swamp into more pleasant light, and then everything just went south from there.
So yeah, about to grab the ice rod.
Meanwhile, in spite of this seed being absolutely terrible, both of our runners doing a great job parsing through it as best they can, so definitely give Matt the Ogre and TheSabin a follow, as they are putting their skills on display for all of us to watch, fun, laugh, and commentate over.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a really fun race to call.
I also find it amusing that, like, the big advantage of calling a fast Ganon is that, you end up getting to Ganon a little faster, and that's really not going to be the case for this seed, because it's still going to take over an hour and a half. Thankfully, Matt the Ogre is avoiding the rest of the bait, not falling for our powder check or anything else, is heading straight into ice, so we'll be getting that ether in an imminent fashion.
Meanwhile, Sabin having to take the long way around this particular ride due to not having the hook shot.
Yeah, that's something that you can easily forget when you get used to doing the NMG version, and you're stuck with doing rando with an unfortunate hook placement.
Hey, there's our Bombos medallion. That'll let us get into ice. I mean, if you want to go in again for no good reason.
I mean, it's for cataloging purposes. We need to make sure that it's in fact Gold Stare that's down there. Yeah, so for those of you in chat who may potentially be freaking out, this is a fast Ganon seed. The hookshot is not required, so don't worry. TheSabin is okay. It's not a situation where he's a SOL for not grabbing hookshot.
Also, he's hovered approximately like 12 times tonight, so I think he'd be okay anyway.
That's a fair point. Including some hovers that I'm sure were just done because, hey, guess what? I can hover. Alright, so TheSabin showing what he thinks about the lava room chest there. Deciding to forego that. Yeah, fast Ganon in this case is a relative term, as in faster Ganon than it would be if you had to go to GT in this particular seed, but not exactly a fast seed at all.
Oh, I just thought it meant that Ganon wasn't eating until we got to him. And at 128.52, Matt goes into go mode.
Yep, just a couple moments away at this point. Oh, never mind. There we go. Sorry about that. I lost internet connection for approximately half a second. Use the hammer on the bird. Use the hammer on the bird. And TheSabin, with the use of the lava key chest skip, gets to just forget about Laser Bridge in its entirety. Alright, so half magic makes this Trinex fight not terrible at all, but Master Sword or Hammer Trinex fight, depending on what TheSabin feels like doing, not really all that fun. It's a lot of swings on both of our heads here.
Yeah, it goes for the Master Sword swings.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure with half magic, it's quite a bit faster. Alright, so at this point in a normal seed, we would ask you to guess where the GT big key is, but because we are never going to find that out, I'm going to instead ask that you go ahead and put in an SRL official ending time for this saber. So go ahead and get those in chat, and if you guess right, we'll give you a holler.
Oh, I was going to go with Phase 3 Ganon Warps.
That's not a bad guess either. Now we have a very confused chat who doesn't know what to guess on. This is fun.
It's fine.
Also, someone in chat asking if anyone else lost connection. I did for a moment, but that was the entirety of my internet, so don't know if my problem is similar to yours, as Matt goes ahead and picks up his big key for Meyer here.
And Sabin making his way over to the pyramid. No free duck ride today here. You gotta walk. Or run, really.
It's unfortunate, because if Matt had to do it, it would be a duck ride, wouldn't it?
I refuse to acknowledge that other than this comment informing you of my decision.
It seems like I'm in quite the quagmire. I don't care what you say, that one was funny. And Ganon perhaps pointing out that he's been here more than once. It's okay, so have we.
And fun little Master Sword Ganon in Phase 1 and 2, but at least we do have...
Yeah, silvers prevent this fight from being an absolute spin cycle. Just have 12 for each phase here, and then, yeah, and then 4 for Phase 3. I did see someone in chat say they wanted to see someone hover. If you want to do that, then go ahead and watch this seed back as soon as it's done, because we did have quite a few hovers by TheSabin.
And the Vitreous fight taking about 1 cycle of Ganon Phase 2.
I'm not even sure it was that long. That was quick. 11 silver arrows to the eyeball, I guess. Alright, so far, we're up to 3 teleports.
Gets a fire bat off that time. Pretty friendly.
Yeah, but he missed the spin.
I got it that time. It's okay. Gets the torch glitch by spamming the lamp, which is the easier way to set that up. Pretty sure that was a single.
It was, yeah. You're not going to be able to do it when he is stuck. And that's one of the most important things to do. When you have a Master Sword Ganon, what you want to do is hit him dead on, because if you hit him from an angle, then you're almost definitely never going to be able to get back to the point where you can get him with a clean arrow shot before he unfreezes.
Yep, and Sabin gets that last chat once he crosses this bridge.
Alright, and the TheSabin finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 25 seconds. I do see some people who are close. I'm trying to see if anyone's exact or closer than what I currently have. Alright, so it looks like our winner is Lord Aubergine, who guessed one... Oh, never mind. I am an absolute moron. Ignore that. Fatalistic, who guessed 1:35:30, and also got the 5 warps correct, actually. So, that was very nicely done. It was actually technically 6 warps, but if the TheSabin had been able to not poke Ganon that one time, would have been 5. So, kudos on your really good guessing.
Matt making his way through Turtle Rock.
Yep, not too far away now, especially since we will not have a climb up GT, so only a couple minutes away from finishing up here. We will get to see what's on pedestal, which will be interesting. So far, I think the only thing interesting that we could have on ped would be the shovel. Pretty sure we have cleared up absolutely everything else.
Yeah, it could be the last sword, I guess.
That's a good point.
Another look at the bunny sprite there.
Yeah, making pretty quick work here of Turtle Rock. The Tempered Sword definitely making it a bit easier to get through these pokies, though. That's for darn sure.
Just a full heart container.
Alright, so with that second win, TheSabin does go ahead and win the entirety of the match here. Does have a chance to get into the brackets still. Meanwhile, Matt unfortunately is going to be eliminated upon the conclusion of this race.
It definitely had a chance in this race. The final time actually not even going to be as close as I think this really was. Just kind of came down to luck, which is the story of Rando sometimes.
Yeah, I think it really all came down to finding that hook shot in Thieves Town. Had that not happened, I think that Ice Palace would have been more acceptable as a dip than Swamp. But the fact that you could full clear it means you're going to get way more items, and I think that's what drew Matt towards Swamp instead of Ice. But hopefully we'll be able to ask him. So we'll see if he's up for an interview afterwards.
Spending a great deal of time exploding, and Matt will be on his way to Ganon here momentarily.
Alright, so we are just one short journey from the Big Pig, away from our final confrontation with Ganon himself. And with Tempered Sword, gonna be quite a bit quicker than the Master Sword, as we will not have to do spins to damage him. Huh? Okay. I think that may have been muscle memory right there.
I think our runner may have been aware that the race was done and messing with us a little bit.
That is also a possibility. Alright, kudos. You got us both there. You had me blaming muscle memory, so good job on that one. Meanwhile, collection rate of 134 from TheSabin, which is not fun. It's not a good collection rate for a fast Ganon scene.
It's not even that high, though. It's just that there's a lot of locations that ended up being just rude to check.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, 134, if you figure that you're probably going to check about 20 chests in GT, 154 isn't bad, but it's also just not fun. And a lot of those were one-offs, like you had said.
Matt already into phase 3 here.
Thankfully not moving there as they were hit by the fire bats and not careening off the stage. And yep, telling Ganon he can stay right there in that corner. Meanwhile, getting a little close to the edge there, being able to back off in time. Alright, and go ahead and get your GGs in chat for Matt the Ogre, who finishes in second place with a final SRL time of what is right up here on the screen, 1:44.44.
Yeah, GG's to both our runners.
Alright, I don't know if either runners or both of them want to join us for a quick interview. Does look like we have TheSabin, who is ready for us. We'll see if Matt the Ogre wants to join us in just a moment here.
Yeah, while we wait to see if they're coming in, do follow both of our runners at TheSabin and Matt the Ogre. They put on a really nice race for us here tonight.
Alright, we are joined in the booth by TheSabin GG. Wasn't really a fast seed, was it?
Yeah, I'm not used to do this mode, so I was like, I had to second thought everything. Like I knew I missing the hook shot, but it was like I had to I had a notepad on my screen that says this is a fast Ganon seed in all caps, so I can remember this is a fast Ganon seed. So I don't need to do GT. So I was remembering all the time during this how to play this a little bit more. But yeah, it's kind of like the first time I'm doing a fast Ganon seed, so I'm used to just normal.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more interesting choices we have for our changes here that you can make to the seed. We also are joined by Matt the Ogre. Matt, GG. Sorry about that hook shot, man.
GG. Good game, TheSabin. That hook shot just led me on the wrong path.
Yeah, I was not too crazy about the hook shot myself. I was more concerned about, like, I knew the ether was my go mode stuff, and I went to Ice Palace knowing that I didn't have the hook shot, but you can bomb jump on hover, so it's not something like, and this, like, I was able to full clear that dungeon anyway, so I went there, and fortunately it was the play for that.
Yeah, speaking of logic breaks, you guys both completely and totally ignored a technically Aghanim required seed.
Yep.
Yep, and yep. So basically what happened is I knew that the seed was Aghanim 1, so I already cleared the full stuff that I could have cleared anyway, so I knew that something wasn't pod or catfish, and was like, oh, let's just sequence break this instead of doing the dungeon.
Yeah, the same. All I had left aside from pod, and that was Zora, and I'm like, well, I don't have the rupees for that, so let's just go to pod and hope for the best. I swear, I think all I roll nowadays are Aga 1 seeds, though.
Yeah, yeah. Yesterday was it was a Naga 1 seed as well, but this one was not really obvious. So
Yeah, this was one of those Aghanim 1 seeds that kind of strings you along for as long as physically possible before laughing in your face and saying, go do Aga 1 anyways.
Yeah, it was not obvious, and by the time I figured it out, it was like, wait, it says that I'm able to, like, there was nothing left basically, and was like, this item one is left, and it's like, well, I did ring a bell and was like, oh, it's in pod or something like that, so I sequence break.
Yeah, that hammer location wasn't very friendly either way.
Yeah, I found the ice rod. I was lucky to get the book. I think the book was the Fat Fairy, and I was like, I basically got the book right after I got the two crystals. Got the book right away, and was able to get the ice rod from the ether medallion, ether tablet. So those two I got them really quick, which was good. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the funny part there was as you guys were kind of going through pod, Mercer and I were just kind of going back and forth like there's got to be something in here, right? There has to be something in here, maybe. There's got to be some. Yep, okay. And then finally, we ended up finding the mirror, and I was like, oh, okay, so that does unlock some stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty far into the dungeon as well. Like it was like the big chest, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so TheSabin, do you know who you are going to be playing next?
I think it's up into the air. I know Sabotender is still has some plays, and I think there's somebody else as well. I didn't check, but I think it's not settle in for that.
It's Sabotender versus Faraimi, and I'm not sure that match is over yet.
Ah,
All right, so that'll be fun. Do you have a preference on who you face next?
I have no idea.
Matt, as always, thank you for joining us in this tournament. It was great to see you race. Sorry it's over for you. I look forward to seeing you the next go round because you are very good at this game. So kudos for qualifying, man, because that was crazy. Even qualifying is pretty good. So
Yeah, everybody in this tournament's really good, so it's just fun to get here and play, and I can go back onto some other games instead of just the randomizer.
yeah, once you get in a tournament, it's like, okay, I gotta actually practice this a lot now.
Yeah. At least try to. If it wasn't for these tournaments, though, I don't think I'd learn all of the glitches that I've learned, all the different bomb jumps. Like learning Harapod and what is a purple chest duping, basically. Those are all fun little things to learn.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things about this game, in my opinion, is that it's sitting on what, darn near 30 years old at this point. We're still finding out cool little things we can do to break the game, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game is pretty broken as far as for glitches and stuff like that. So it's an infinite pool of knowledge.
Yeah, but I mean, as that is, it's still almost impossible to actually really full on break the game. It's hard to get yourself soft locked or that sort of thing. The game will pretty much just keep going no matter what you throw at it. All right, so did either of you two have any last thoughts on the seed, the match, the tourney, any of that?
Oh, it was fun to race against Matt. I think we're kind of like on the same level, skill level, so that was good. I was surprised yesterday I won. I think yesterday we were pretty much 3-4 minutes, something like that.
38 seconds apart in our first
38
race.
seconds. Yeah, that was good. So
I was in Ganon's tower first, and he overtook me due to a couple of weird falls I had.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting to see someone who was kind of like on the same level as me. I'm not super amazing at randomizer, but I have the execution. I speedrun this game, so but I'm not super good at randomizer. So
Yeah, competitive races are always the most fun. It's the most fun when you go out there against someone who you know you're pretty similar in skill level to, because then you can really, because then you can kind of have a more realistic opinion on where you think you are as compared to them and what you think you can get away with, and the meta part of the game really starts to go out of whack in that regard, because it's trying to find little advantages or little disadvantages that you maybe did on accident, that sort of thing. Alrighty, so thank you two for racing, and thank you for letting us watch and commentate over it. It was an absolute blast. For those of you who want more rando, we do have a race starting in 5 minutes on the ALTTP Randomizer channel. That one is going to be Phyllion versus Apathy Duck. So if you didn't get enough duck in this first race, there's some more duck over on that one. If you don't really want to change channels and you'd rather stick around here, we have some more rando for you here as well. There's a race coming up, Devio XS versus Superman Taylor, right on this channel starting at 8:30. If it started on time, I have not had a chance to take a look, but should be starting in just about 15 minutes here. So I do know that for this channel, the seed is a 6/6 defeat Ganon, so we're only going to need 6 crystals there. So we do have those. We also have a race starting a little bit later. We've got one starting at 11:20. Ganon's Gone Wild versus Kappa. And if we can get some more commentators for that one, we will have that one playing as well on Speed Gaming 2. And obviously, there's gonna be a boatload more of rando as the week goes on. And yeah, so plenty of stuff to do. Stay tuned to one of those races if you want. If not, check them out later, because they're definitely gonna be fun to watch. That's all I have to say for the day. Mercer, did you have anything you wanted to add before we headed out?
Yeah, actually. Shout outs to our tracker for the day, Nif Boy, and as well as my great co-commentator here, Hammer. And shout outs to the Randomizer. Keep doing you, Rando. It's very entertaining.
Alrighty, I believe that's all from us. Stay tuned. Either go watch the ALTTP Randomizer race or stick around here. Either way, definitely follow these channels, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, and then ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5, because we're going to have a whole lot more of this tournament to get thrown at you. So definitely stick around. We're going to have some fun stuff to go through. I think that's all for us. So for Mercer and myself, Hammer Bro, have a good night and enjoy some rando. May your seeds be kinder than this one was.